Turbo and 2K show.
What's up, 2K crew? We are back at it yet again, ladies and gentlemen. We are coming to you live from Patch and Remington here in Marcellus. Big shout out to Tony and the crew here for letting us do our thing. And yeah, it's, man, what an awesome day, 2Ks. We actually got some rain, a little bit of rain. Not enough. Not enough.
It'd take a lot of rain to be enough.
Yeah.
We had a lot of rain in a very short amount of time.
Yes, we did. And thankfully, all of the kind of bad weather that they were kind of predicting or forecasting really didn't hit. So thankful that happened. I'm really a fan of having power at the house.
Sure.
So yeah, that makes it makes for a good evening. But yes, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. For those of you that are tuning in either on Facebook or on YouTube, go ahead and drop us a comment so I know that you're here, because I can see that folks are here, just not who's here. So yeah, go ahead and let us know you're here. And for those of you on the YouTube page, go ahead and give us a like, hit that bell to enable notifications so you get notified every time we go live. And for those of you on the audio side, you are the unsung heroes of the 2K crew. We kind of, I'm probably just as guilty as everyone else. But I mean, we 2Ks, we're averaging probably 10 to 15 times the downloads that we do to the views, and that's Facebook and YouTube combined. So big shout out to you guys. Give us a follow on there, and give us a 5-star rating. Well, 2Ks, I think we're seeing something that I know I haven't seen before, and I've been around just a little bit longer than you have, and you'd be kind of hard pressed to have someone probably on a podcast that saw this happen before. But yeah, Shohei Ohtani is he actually getting better?
Yeah.
I mean, that is a crazy thing to think about. But we've got a whole bunch of baseball news that I want to get to first, so we'll kind of tease that a little bit. But one thing I did want to do a quick shout out to is Thursday was the NBA draft, and Victor Wembanyama was taken number 1 overall to join the Spurs. And Rich Eisen tweeted this photo out. It's a photo of Wemby. I'm not sure who the guy is on the far left, but it's Wemby, David Robinson, Ginobili, and then Tim Duncan. And look at how he makes all those guys look small.
Yeah.
I mean, that is crazy. That is absolutely crazy to see just how big this young man is compared to, I mean, David Robinson's 7 foot tall, or was when he played. So is Tim Duncan. Tim, I mean, I wish Tim would have been closer to him to kind of get a more relative size comparison. But man, that is just cool, and I think we're all excited to kind of see what this kid does. But yeah, aside from Shohei, let's look at the rankings here or the standings. Tampa's still really good, 2Ks.
Yeah.
Tampa's still really good with a plus 150 win differential. And my Red Sox are a game over 500, 13 games behind the Rays, in last place in the AL East with a plus 21 run differential. That's insane. That is absolutely insane. But your Tigers aren't playing bad baseball right now. It seems like if they could put together more series instead of just like blowing a load on one series, then losing 4 and 5 straight, then blowing a load.
Yeah.
And
Well, I mean, if you go back 3 weeks ago, they were flirting with 500 and only a game back on the Twins, and then they lose 9 in a row. And then they're trying to, since last weekend they started playing better. This past week they played all right. They're coming on now. After the loss today, they lost that series with Minnesota, but they're playing better. But this is still a team that just finds a way to lose games, and we saw that today. I mean, they were leading the entire game and then in the 8th inning find a way to make a throwing error, from third base over to first, leads to the tying run. End up going to extra innings. They lose in extra innings. So, that's what teams that are not very good do, is they find ways to lose games, give away games, and that's what they did today. So frustrating, but yeah, you are right. They have. I mean, as far as in the last couple of weeks, they have played a little bit better.
Yeah, and I did I see that that Scooble's getting ready to start a rehab or did a rehab and is getting
He has
things synced
started
up?
that. He started that, and he's been okay so far. So hopefully here in the next week or so, we'll see him. Also, Matt Manning. We're supposed to be seeing him here pretty soon.
I did see that.
They kind of think here in the next week or so that Green will be ready to start making his rehab assignment. So yeah, some promising.
Yeah.
Promising.
And I mean, worst case scenario, you're 5.5 back.
Yeah.
5.5 back.
That's the thing.
10 games under 500, 5.5 back.
That's the thing. When you look like this series this weekend, the Twins won 2 of the 3. But just go back to last weekend, the Tigers won 3 out of 4 in Minnesota. When you look at these two teams, right now the Tigers are 5.5 back, have went through a lot of injuries. Twins have went through their fair share of injuries also. But when you watch these two teams play, I know it's kind of pathetic because the first place team in this division is 40-39. That tells you how bad of a division it is.
Yeah.
But I don't see any gap. I don't think that the Twins are a much better baseball team than the Tigers.
No.
I think that this is kind of 4 teams in this division that are not very good, but all 4 teams at this point right now have a chance at winning this division. I cannot look at this and confidently say the Twins are going to win this division. I don't think they're a great baseball team.
The only team that doesn't have a shot at this division is the Royals.
Yes.
Because the Royals are absolutely terrible.
Yeah, they're
absolutely horrible.
17.5 back. They're comparable to the A's.
Yeah. And the A's are 20-60, and the Royals are 22-56. The Royals have a minus 122 run differential. The Oakland A's have a minus 224. Meanwhile, the Texas Rangers that lead that division have a run differential of plus 152. So that is absolutely absurd. And if you cruise down to the NL Central, I think kind of the same thing could be said here. However, with Cincinnati playing out of their mind baseball right now, and you could attribute that to Ellie De La Cruz coming up. Obviously Joey Votto coming back and playing healthy and looking to have a little bit of he's got a swag to him, 2Ks. I like it. I like it. He's showing some pop. He's kind of always been that dude, that character that seems to he was getting a lot of hate in his career for taking too many walks. And a first baseman doesn't walk that much. A first baseman is paid to hit the ball out of the ballpark. And he looks rejuvenated. That whole squad looks rejuvenated. And I saw a stat on ESPN, and they're a half game up on the Milwaukee Brewers. And the Milwaukee Brewers are on they won today. But their batting average, I think in the month of June, was like 162 or something outlandishly bad. And the Cubs seem to be in the same spot right now as they were a month ago. They go up, they go down. They go up, they go down. It was good to see that Stroman it was just a blister to come out of that game today, because I have a feeling if the Cubs are going to be sellers, there's going to be a lot of teams lining up for for the Marcus Stroman sweepstakes. And then the Pirates, I think, have come back down to earth. I think they're kind of the team that we kind of expected them to be. I think they had a very, very good start, and they're 1-9 in their last 10. I mean, they are not good. And speaking of not good, the Cardinals are even worse. And they were talking about today, like the Cardinals haven't finished last in their division since 1980.
Yeah.
How insane is that?
Yeah. I mean, how insane is it that you have a team with Paul Goldschmidt and Nolan Arenado who two top 10 players in all of baseball, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. And you have both of them, and to be this bad, like that's what I don't understand. Like, I sit here and I mean, you guys listen to me talk every fucking week about how much the Tigers piss me off. Well, at least the Tigers don't have guys like that in their lineup and not performing, or
Right.
like the San Diego Padres and having all of what they have and are a below 500 team or a 500 team. Like, at least the Tigers have an excuse to be shitty. At least Oakland has an excuse to suck. But for me, when I look at teams like the Mets, who are absolutely loaded on paper, and you look at teams like the Phillies, who are loaded on paper, and for them to play right around 500 ball, well, fuck, the Mets are 6-7 games below 500. Mm-hmm. So there's no excuse for it. And I don't understand this whole thing with and how the Cardinals. This fly is fucking driving me nuts.
Yeah, there's a couple of them that are about at wit's end over here too. So
the Cardinals, though, I watch them. I mean, I watched both of those games this weekend, just being that it was in London. They were on early in the day, so you can watch it basically before all the other teams play.
that was cool.
So that I enjoy. Like, I wish there could be a London game every weekend. It was a cool environment. I'm glad that they're doing it again next year. I like stuff like this. I think it's important that baseball does this because it does put a spotlight on. Now, the only thing I would say is, can we get some better fucking teams? Like,
Yes.
Why are we not headlining these games with Shohei Ohtani?
Yeah. Good
Why?
teams.
Yeah. When's the? I want to see a game now, and I know we did it it happened a few years ago, where teams would play in Japan. But why? To me, I think the Angels should play some games in Japan every single year, and try to make this a thing where we're playing all over the place. I mean, the Field of Dreams game is so cool, such a cool concept. And last year, though, we had the Cincinnati Reds playing in it, and the Cubs, and there were two teams that weren't even playoff, relevant.
Yeah.
Get some teams in there that people want to see. Get some players in there that we want to see. Like, to me, we're missing it. We're missing the point. Why are some of the greatest players? I'm talking the Shoheis. I want to see them play at 10 o'clock. In a game that's not stateside. Or I want to see Mike Trout. We failed on him. I mean, that his whole career. And Angels can be part of the blame there because they haven't never played playoff baseball with him. But still, when you have the opportunity to play these big games, to me, why wouldn't we showcase
the best
of the best?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, you can kind of extrapolate that to the NFL playing in London. I mean, how it seemed like the Jacksonville Jaguars were a London team because they played in London every year, and up until last year, were extremely terrible.
Yeah.
So, I agree with you because I want to see that as well. But I think what they're trying to do is, even though these trips are supposed to bring a sport over and kind of showcase it into an exhibition during the regular season, mind you, they're like, well, we don't want to. We don't want to, give all that extra travel, extra time to our studs. Mm-hmm. So we'll just kind of send it out there and kind of let it be. It is what it is, type of thing. But I totally agree. I would be on board 100%. And
to me, like, how awesome would it be though, like, to be able to pull a game off for Shohei in Japan?
Oh, that'd be sweet.
How cool would that be? What about pulling off a game and get Venezuela involved and get Ronald Acuna Jr. A game? I don't know if and it gets complicated. Who knows with these different countries how you could pull off and the safety for all these players? Who knows? That's obvious, but I think that there's probably people in Major League Baseball that have access to those answers and have access to being able to figure this shit out. But damn, that shit to me would be so cool to have a player like a Ronald Acuna Jr. get to play in front of his country.
Yeah.
I mean, that place would be nuts. It would go nuts. We see it, and we get a glimpse of it in the World Baseball Classic.
And how awesome was that?
And how awesome is that? I mean, and I think honestly, if you polled a lot of these guys like around Major League Baseball and asked them, what was their coolest part of their career, there's a good chance they're going to say the World Baseball Classic playing in those games was cooler than any postseason game that they've played against in the States.
Or if you're Mike Trout, that's your postseason right there.
Yeah, yeah,
that legitimately is your postseason. But yeah, now fast forward, if the Reds play the Field of Dreams game this year, there's a whole lot more people watching because this Reds team is electric. I mean, young as shit, which is completely awesome. But yeah, I'm officially a Reds fan. 2Ks. I would.
Oh man, this kid is a
I'm
stud.
betting on this team to win the division right now, just because they're probably the hottest team in the division, even though they've lost 2 straight.
They lost 2 straight to who I think is going to win the World Series this year.
Yeah.
You know, this is a Reds team who I agree with you. I agree they go on and win this division.
Yeah.
And they are, arguably the hottest team in baseball. Shit, they won, what did they rifle off 12 in a row before they lost to the Braves?
Yeah, they lost, Saturday would have been 13.
Yeah. And then they lost 2 in a row, but they won the first 2. Or no.
No, they won the first one.
It was won the first one, lost the second 2. Yeah. But, no, I'm with you. This Ellie De La Cruz kid is the truth. This is going to be a kid that...
He hit for the cycle, for Christ's sake, already.
Like his 14th, 15th game of his career.
Yeah, that's insane.
Had the foul ball off the knee today, though. I don't know if you saw that.
I did not.
That one was a little bit scary because it was kind of just awkward. At first, when I was watching it, I thought, like, he tweaked his knee. But then after watching the replay, he fouled it off of his kneecap.
Ooh, okay.
Probably maybe a thing where he misses a day or 2, but they were talking about it after the game that it's nothing serious, nothing where they don't expect any, to miss any long-term time. So that's all good news. But this kid is a fucking stud. Everything I love everything about him. He plays like his hair's on fire. He's
huge.
And then he's huge. And then it's not just that he plays with his hair on fire. He's also has all the tools to back it all up with.
Yeah.
He's a generational player. He's a player that we don't see caliber baseball players like this very often. And I can only name a handful of them that we have in baseball total. Well, this kid's one of them.
Well, Joey Votto kind of put it bluntly after the game. After the game he hit for the cycle, he's like, I've never seen a better combination of tools aside from like a young Mickey Mantle. And he's like, am I trying to put that on this kid's shoulders? Absolutely not. It's just trying to put into context something that doesn't come around that long or that often. And speaking of injuries here, 2Ks, and when he'll be back, yesterday the ESPN tweeted out Aaron Judge has a torn ligament in his toe. Manager Aaron Boone said he expects Judge to return this season, but did not provide any guarantees. Now it's not a secret that I'm a Yankee hater. However, I do not wish for injuries on anybody. And of course, the first thing that came to mind was, here we go again.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Here
and
we
if
go
there's
again.
and I'm with you. I hate the Yankees too. But if there's any player that I would definitely not root for anything to happen to on that team, it's Aaron Judge. Like I love Aaron Judge. I don't like the team he plays for, never will. But you have to respect him, and he does. It's not like he's somebody that's out there running his mouth or anything like that. He just goes about everything the right way. It's hard not to like him, so it is very unfortunate. But I will say, when you take him out of that Yankees lineup,
totally different.
It is a very, very mediocre lineup. It is not good.
Yeah, they let's see, they've won 2 in a row, but in their last 10 are 4-6.
Yeah,
and I'm pretty sure between the Red Sox and them, the Red Sox have lost once in 2 series. And granted, the Yankees are only 3 games better record-wise or win-wise than the Red Sox. But yeah, it seemed to be like a collective. They don't know what the hell they're doing without Aaron Judge. Yeah. And we're talking about at the plate. Yes, they're terrible at the plate. I think they're scoring like right around 3 runs a game without him. And add on top of that, and this might be going right to Booney. I mean, we've seen 2 base running blunders here in the last week that little leaguers make. I mean, you saw Kiner Falefa get steal second the other day, gets called safe by the umpire and just walks away. And then Gleyber Torres doesn't go to tag up on a fly or on a line drive that gets caught in the outfield and gets doubled off. It's like, okay, Aaron Judge has nothing to do with that. Has nothing to do with that. And if you're a Yankee fan, you have to be irate at just kind of the shit that's going on aside from Judge being out, because you would think if you had any sort of like leadership other than Judge I understand he's a captain. I understand he's a captain. He's that for a reason. But man, LeMahieu is a shell of himself. Stanton, you never know if he's going to play or not.
He's been a disappointment since he's put on a Yankee uniform. I mean, there's nothing.
Josh Donaldson's the same way. I mean, he's been terrible. And I can't even name you some of the outfielders because they're new faces. Yeah. And, you know, I'm pretty sure out of the guys I just named, LeMahieu's probably playing the best out of all of them. And you can't really expect Volpe to just step in as a rookie and be like, yep, boys, this is my team. This is what we're going to do. Everyone get on my back, because, to be honest with you, he hasn't hit worse shit at all this year so far. So, yeah, if you're a Yankee fan, I mean, it has to come – you can be mad at the players for their performance, but I think you got to go one step further. One step further, because base running blunders, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? That's just – no.
Yeah, it's – and it's they're kind of being – you know, because we talk about the Judge injury being such a big deal, but they're kind of probably going to stick around and stay right there, because when you think about like Houston being a team that takes that other wild card spot from them, well, they're without Jordan, and it doesn't look like Jordan's anywhere close to being back, so that might help them out. So then it's going to come down to, what about the Angels? Can the Angels step in there? Can Shohei Ohtani and Mike Trout just take this team to, you know? Or is Shohei Ohtani going to still be in an Angels uniform? I mean, that's a conversation that I'm kind of saving when we get to that, because that's a very, very tricky one to talk about, and I have opinions on both sides on that one. But yeah, so we'll see. I don't know. We'll see how long it takes for Judge to come back. They still have an opportunity, obviously, to slide into that last wild card spot, but there's no chance that they catch Baltimore or Tampa. No way.
The way it is, right? Yeah, this. Pretty much, if there's going to be another team that comes out of the AL East, it's going to be because no one's catching Tampa. No one's catching Tampa.
No.
But
Baltimore
could.
But both Tampa and Baltimore are going to be in the playoffs.
Yeah.
One of them's going to be a wild card, but then I'm talking that second wild card spot. And that's the only chance that the Yankees have.
Which it's kind of ironic that the Orioles have the first wild card spot, and they lead the second wild card spot by 5.5 games, which are the New York Yankees, and they have a half-game lead on the Toronto Blue Jays. So the top three teams in this wild card race are indeed AL East teams, followed by Houston. Houston and the Angels are 1 game back of that final wild card spot, and the Red Sox are 3, Mariners are 4.5, Cleveland, Detroit, Chicago. Somehow Kansas City is 20, and they have Kansas City listed as 20.5, and the Oakland A's are 23.5 games back of the wild card spot. So that's awesome to see. But I did have one other news bit here, too, Case, before we jump into the. Actually, there's two of them. Let's start off with this one. The College World Series 2Ks is insane. I mean, we had last night was the kind of the extra innings walk-off winner for LSU, right?
That game was awesome last night.
Yeah, and then we had an absolute blowout. What was there, 24 runs? And add to that the Angels scoring 24 runs, I think it was, in the first 4 innings last night. It's like, holy shit, what is in the water with baseball? But do you know what water makes, 2Ks?
What's water make?
Jello shots. Joe Pompliano, at Joe Pompliano. And this is, he tweets that Rocco's Pizza and Cantina has sold 71,459 Jello shots at this year's College World Series. 71,459 shots times 5 is a revenue of $357,295. $1 from each shot is then donated to that school's local food bank. Another 50 cents goes to the food bank in Omaha. That's $107,188 in donations. How awesome is that, 2Ks?
Awesome.
That is absolutely awesome. Absolutely awesome. And just wanted to throw that in here, just because, hey, it's very good news. And I'm sure that Rocco's Pizza and Cantina has made quite a lot of money with the College World Series being there in Omaha. And, yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. You know what's not awesome, 2Ks? Our parlay.
Yeah.
Our parlay.
Yeah, rough day.
Yeah, 2K Crew, this is going to be an ongoing ongoing segment of the show. How it's going to work is 2Ks and I are going to pick. I'm making Red Sox bets. He's making Tigers bets. We're going to pick 2 legs of a parlay, put them together, and see how we do. And today I chose Justin Turner and Adam Duvall to each have 2 total bases. Justin Turner did. Adam Duvall did not.
Adam Duvall did.
Oh, it's the other way around.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And 2Ks took Spencer Torkelson to record 2+ total bases and Zach McKinstry to score a run. And Mr. McKinstry held up his end of the bargain. Yeah. And Torque went over. But you said hit some balls on the screws.
A couple balls on the screws that I thought had a chance. I thought one definitely had a chance for a home run, and that ended up catching it on the warning track. I think he had 2 flyouts today that both went to the warning track. Mm-hmm. So it was. I was watching it, because the Tigers game started early today,
yes,
a couple hours earlier than Boston did. So I was, hoping that at least it would be alive. So then I would be interested in tuning in for the Boston game. Well, by the end of the Tigers game, when the parlay was already done for, I was like, I'm done watching baseball for the day.
But yeah, I will. I'll post these in the 2K Crew group on Facebook. If you guys and gals want to get on over there, it's facebook.com/group/2K Crew, and answer the questions, and I'll let you in, and you'll be able to bet alongside of us if you would like, or sit there and ridicule us about our dumbass decisions. Either one.
And the thing is, so many times this year I have bet on Spencer Torkelson, and man, that motherfucker has failed me so many times.
It's like he knows.
Yeah, And then the days where I don't bet, he has 3 or 4 hit games, and it's just like, what the hell?
Well, Tigers fans, you found the jinx. You found the jinx right here. Every time 2K's bets on Torque, take the under and the Tigers to lose. Well, 2Ks, let's jump into this Shohei Ohtani talk. And let me bring up one of the tweets here, because this one pretty much puts everything into perspective. And this is, again, from Joe Pompliano. Shohei Ohtani currently leads the LA Angels in games played, at-bats, hits, batting average, RBIs, on-base percentage, triples, home runs, total bases, stolen bases, slugging percentage, on-base plus slugging, wins above replacement, and then pitching-wise, games started, quality starts, wins, innings pitched, ERA, strikeouts, wins above replacement. Joe goes on to say, my point, well, we have never seen a player like him, and we might never again. Now, there is some talks that there are a couple dudes in the combine, 2Ks, that are said to be two-way players. Now, let me ask you, do you think that we will see another two-way player in the next 5 years?
No. Well, another two-way player? Yeah, probably, because I think he's kind of opening it up.
Yeah.
Will we see one that compares to this? No.
No, and that I was going to say, that was going to be my next question. If you say yes, I was going to be like, well, and can you imagine trying to be that guy? I mean, yes, Shohei's opened the door for this whole it's not an experiment anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, this is legit. He is. There is no if, ands, or buts. He's doing it.
And the thing is, like, you can say that you're a two-way player because most of these kids coming out of high school and college are two-way players.
Sure.
Majority of the really good ones. I mean, there's a few pitchers that are just strictly pitchers, especially in college.
Yeah.
But all these kids coming out of high school are their best pitcher, their best shortstop,
best athlete,
and they're probably their three-hole batter on their high school team. that's just how it is. So you can say that you are, but then to come to the highest level in the world and do it the way that Shohei has done it, where he is the best hitter in baseball right now.
Yes.
And if he's borderline top 10 pitcher in the game, borderline. Now, I know I get it. There's a lot of strikeouts there, but there's other issues there and there's other really, really, really good pitchers in the game that he just, in my opinion, is not as good at. He's right there in that top, maybe in the top 10, maybe just out of the top 10, pitching wise. But we've never seen a player like this, and I don't know if we ever will see another player like this ever again. I mean, as far as hitting 470-foot home runs and then striking out 8-9 batters in the games, and like this shit's insane. You might as well just give him the MVP again this year. If it wasn't for Aaron Judge just having an unbelievable year last year where he hits so many home runs, Shohei probably should have won it last year. Yeah. If the Angels make the postseason last year and are a relevant team, it's probably wins it. You probably can't. You probably have to give it to him.
Yeah.
So,
and I think too, and even listen to the Baseball's Dead podcast. Dallas brought up a very good point. What if the next two-way player was like a second baseman and a pitcher as opposed to a DH? I think a lot of folks just think about it in that DH role just because that's what's happening right now. But Dallas did bring up another point. He's like, well, how cool would it be if you have a center fielder who's like your closer? How badass would that be?
That would be fucking sweet. That would be sweet. That would be sweet. But like the thing is with Shohei though, he's there to hit home runs and drive runners in. And look, there's no doubt in my mind that you couldn't stick Shohei out in left field and he would be just fine.
Oh, yeah.
You wouldn't even notice that, anything different. He'd be a better left fielder than like Kyle Schwarber. He would be better than serviceable.
Oh yeah, didn't he play right field or something?
Yeah, when he first came over, yeah.
That's what I thought.
And he just fine, and he's a stud pitcher, so he's got a cannon for an arm as an outfielder. The thing is, you're already pushing the limits with him. You just want to make sure he's healthy. So the best thing to do is just when he's not pitching, just
get him
DH him and have him be, just go out there and do what we need you to do, and that's hit home runs and drive runners in and move runners on the bases. But the thing about it is, if you just let Shohei play, like just play baseball, he could probably be one of the better outfielders in the game.
Yeah.
We already know he's the best hitter in the game. We already know he's one of the better pitchers in the game. He probably could steal you 20-plus bags if you gave him the green light and just let him run. I think he's got like 6 or 7 steals this year. He can run. He's fast. He's got 10. Yeah. So there's if you green lighted him, he could have well over 20 in a season.
Well, let me tell you. Let me give you some stats here up until today, and then I'll compare them to his career. Right now, he has 89 hits for the season, and for his entire career has 619. He has 25 home runs this season, career 152, 60 RBIs, career 403, stolen base 10, career 76. Now here's the interesting part here, 2Ks. He has a career batting average of 271. This year he's batting 297. His on-base percentage for his career, 357. On base this year, 377. And an OPS career of 901. And he's sitting at a cool 1.0 this year. That is absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. So to kind of say, is he the best? I mean,
it's not even close.
Yeah.
It's not even close.
And to have questions on this guy is how long can he do it? I think that's the most legit question in sports right now, because his next payday is going to be a big one. It's projected $600 million for 10 years. Well, he was born in '94, so he's definitely not a spring chicken. Mm-hmm. But that the organization that's going to back up the Brinks truck for him has to know that probably the last 5 years of that contract, he's going to be a DH only, or just a pitcher only. Mm-hmm. I have a feeling we're going to go to the DH part, probably primary, before because in my opinion, he's a more accomplished hitter than he is a pitcher.
Yeah.
But that being said, I mean, it's absolutely insane what he's doing. Let's grab another one of these tweets here. This is from Hembo over at ESPN on Twitter. Shohei Ohtani in the last 3 seasons, that's 2021 to 2023. He has more home runs than Pete Alonso, more extra base hits than Aaron Judge, a higher slugging percentage than Bryce Harper, and on the bump, he has a lower ERA than Corbin Burns, a higher K per 9 than Garrett Cole, and more Ks than Max Scherzer. The most remarkable 3-season span by any player that has ever lived. And if you have no idea who this Hembo dude is, first of all, you don't watch ESPN. Second of all, he is the stat guru of that or of that staff. He is absolutely insane with these stats. And for him to say, I mean, because this is his job, is to deep dive into stats and everything, the most remarkable 3-season span by any baseball player that's ever lived. I think that sums it up perfectly.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Sums it up perfectly.
And you can't, and nobody could argue it. Like, nobody can argue it.
No.
What he's done in the last 3 years, we've never seen. Nobody's ever seen. And there's a very, very good argument that we never will see it again.
Yes, and
at this level.
Like I was saying, for the next two-way player, I have a very good feeling that it's going to come from Japan. Just because, I mean, this guy is the king of Japan right now. I guarantee every Japanese player right now wants to be him. He has laid the groundwork on how to prepare your body, the training that it takes to get to this point. Now, does everyone have? You can have the same work ethic, the same training as Shohei, but do you have the same talent? Probably not. But I have a very good feeling that the next two-way player, if they're the next big two-way player, let's put it this way, the most successful two-way player after Shohei will come from Japan. Because, like I said, the path's already been blazed. But I have a very good feeling that if any of the American kids want to do it, just the stress. If one part of your game starts to slide, then it's like, do we take extra time in the part that's sliding to try to fix it, or do we just stick to the thing that you're really, really good at? And I think that's just been ingrained in the training and everything that's led up to where we are in Major League Baseball right now. And I have a very good feeling, unless it's a very, very special player, which Shohei is, obviously, that another player will have the opportunity to be showcased at the major league level like this. Let's jump This is from 6 days ago, 2K. This is from Barstool Sports. Shohei Ohtani this week. Monday, 2 home runs. Tuesday, no home runs. Wednesday, Thursday, home run each. Friday, no home run. Saturday and last Sunday, home runs. Oh, and this guy pitches too. It's absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. And what's this one here? Oh, I want to save that one. We already did that one. And I did find, we were talking about kind of where Shohei's going to end up here, 2Ks. Well, I found this one. This is from Gary Sheffield Jr. The sleeper team that would rock the house for Shohei Ohtani, the Atlanta Braves. Young, cheap long-term contracts for the majority of their core: Acuna, Albies, Olsen, Harris, etc. How that would be absolutely insane.
Yeah.
And Gary's not wrong here. We've said it time and time again on this show how smart the Braves have been to, because Austin Riley is the biggest contract in their history. Obviously, this one would blow that one out of the water. But as far as how everything's lining up, salary-wise, salary cap-wise, or luxury tax-wise, excuse me, there is no salary cap. But one thing just to kind of, here's another little thing here, 2Ks. We were wondering if there was any two-player combination in the major leagues that are close to $100 million. Because Trout's making 40 plus. If it is indeed a $600 million 10-year contract for Shohei, that's $1 billion. Mm-hmm. That's $1 billion in 2 contracts. The Mets are close. Both Scherzer and Verlander are making $43.3 million each this year. Both pitching very subpar for what they're used to. So is it out of the realm of possibility that the Angels would keep him?
No, I don't think so. I don't think it is. And I was kind of touching on it earlier. I don't know. That's a very tough situation. They're a borderline playoff team, and they're going to, you think with both of them, and the Yankees not being great, Houston hasn't been great to this point.
The Dodgers haven't been great either.
They still have a chance of getting in. But if on the other end, if you're not going to pay for him, you're not going to bring him back.
You got to get something for him.
You're gonna take the biggest haul of all time on trading away a rental player. Mm-hmm. Because we've sat here and raved and basically done everything. Jeez, oh Pete.
We basically gargled his
for the last 20 minutes. So we're safe to say he's the best we've ever seen, and at least in this 3-year span, this is the best 3-year span we've ever seen anybody do in this game in the history. So a team is going to be willing to just give up boatloads of young talent.
Yes.
So if you're the Angels, do you bite? Do you take that? Because I think you could probably get 4 or 5 top end, prospects just for moving him, and he's only going to be a player that plays in that destination for a couple of months. Mm-hmm. But on the other end, what has the knock on Trout always been? Never been a postseason player. Mm-hmm. Never been able to get to the postseason. Do you owe it to Trout? Because if you dish Ohtani away, you're basically telling Trout, because these guys that you're going to get in the trade are probably not going to be, difference makers in Trout's, in Trout for the rest of Trout's prime.
Yeah,
we'll just say that. So I don't know what you do with this situation. I think it's a very tough situation. I do think that the Angels, and at the end of it all, I think they're gonna throw out an offer, and it's gonna be a hell of an offer, and it's going to come down to, is there going to be another team that's willing to throw out more money? And I think that there probably is going to be.
I've often questioned, and I maybe I missed this. What's his relationship with Mike Trout? Mm-hmm. They look very happy. They look happy together. Mm-hmm. But you never hear them talking about each other. Mm-hmm. And I mean, yes, so, obviously English is a second language for one of them, but you would think by spending this much time together, they would have developed a relationship. And if you're the Angels, do you kind of leverage that relationship? Yeah. I mean, you'd think you'd have to.
Yeah, and I think also something that none of us ever really put any time or thought into is if Ohtani leaves and goes somewhere else, he's going to have to build that whole relationship elsewhere. And there obviously is a language barrier. So that's not going to be something like this. This whole thing with the Angels didn't just come overnight. It took time. And then eventually once he got comfortable, then the numbers are off the charts. But I don't think he just leaves and goes to another destination, especially if the Angels were to trade him. Mm-hmm. And so you have 2 months playing for, it's going to be a contender. Whoever is willing to throw away, you're going to be playing for a contender. That's a tough situation to me. That's a situation that, as Ohtani, if I'm Ohtani, I'm probably not all that interested in that. Trying to build up a relationship real quick in the middle of the last 2 months of a season, last month and a half of a season, big games, everything. I mean, if something goes south, he doesn't perform the way that, let's just say, the way he's been performing here over the last 3 years. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, the fan base can turn on you real quick, especially if they see, well, we just gave up
a whole shit ton of people.
We gave up our entire farm. We gave up our whole future for a rental player, and we missed out on, and say we didn't make the playoffs, or say we got to the playoffs and we didn't win the World Series. Mm-hmm. It's not worth it then.
No.
So I don't know. It's going to be fun to watch, and I don't really know what's going to happen, but I would be shocked if the Angels didn't just throw the whole bag at him and say that they're, at least try. Because then you can, if you do that and say Ohtani decides he wants more money, he goes elsewhere, he leaves there, at least you can say to your fan base and to your players, to Mike Trout, hey, we fucking tried. Yeah. We gave it everything we had. We tried to do it, and it didn't work out. But if you just sit back, you trade him, or you sit back and you just let it go, I don't know if you'll ever recover with that with the fan base.
No, and that's the thing too, is no matter which way they go with this, the fans aren't. There's going to be one part of the fan base that isn't happy. I can understand a fan base going, why in the hell would you spend that much money on one player when he hasn't even, him and the other best player in the league haven't even gotten to the postseason, and you're keeping him here for that price. But I have a feeling that's a smaller segment of the fan base, because you are 100% right. You have to do everything in your power to keep him there. And even if you trade him now. Trade him now. His value is never going to be higher. It's sky's the limit right now, and we're in the clouds, dude. We are in the clouds. Yeah. And
the haul that they could get out of a trade for him would be something that we've never seen. No. I'm talking, it would be huge. It would have to be huge.
Yeah. To be honest with you, it would probably have to be at least one or two major league people that are on major league rosters right now.
Yeah, it's not. It won't. There's no way. There's no way you could pull it off with just prospects. No way. No way.
That's because Al Avila isn't running the Angels right now.
Yeah.
But no, Shohei,
and for the Angels' sake too, it's a good fucking problem to have. Like, you're gonna go through this. I'm sure that they're gonna, like I said, that they're gonna offer the bag to him. But it's also a good problem to have when you have this problem of, we're talking like it's a it's a bad one, but it's not a bad problem. No. You're dealing with, the best player in the game right now, obviously, and you have an opportunity to, if things don't work out and you do move him, there's a chance you're going to be bringing in a shit ton of talent,
and that team has a lot of holes to fill.
Yeah, and I really do think too. I don't think Ohtani is going to be the chase the biggest contract. I think he's going to be looking for where he's comfortable at. He's obviously comfortable right where he's at.
He chose to go there in the beginning.
If you're fair to him, I think I believe if the Angels play it and they're fair to him and they offer him a contract basically a can't turn down offer. I don't think he looks elsewhere. I think he sticks around right there, and I think the Angels do it. So.
And if you're the Angels, how much Ohtani swag have you sold? How many jerseys have you sold?
Yeah.
How many Japanese advertisements have you sold within your stadium on your broadcast?
Enough to pay him?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
And I think it was either Jared or Dallas said, all right, well, the Angels have a history of overpaying for guys that are kind of past their prime. Josh Hamilton, Albert Pujols, Anthony Rendon, who really wasn't past his prime, past his physical prime, because it seems like he hasn't played at all, hardly since signing there. But you're like, all right, yep, that's our third strike. We're out on this one. Sorry about it. Nah, I just don't see that happening. The reason we're talking about it like this is because we haven't seen this. The reason we're talking like this, and I would not want to be the GM or the owner of the Angels.
Sure.
Because, like I said, this is a lose-lose. Because if you do trade him, you're saying, well, yep, you're bailing on us. You're bailing on us. There, you cheap SOBs. This, that, and blah blah blah. If you do keep him, make some moves to help bolster that roster, but just is just making the playoffs good enough?
Yeah.
I mean, what's the line here? Where's the line you're drawing in the sand? Like, okay, if we make it to the ALDS, then we've done enough. This team's not winning the World Series. Could they? Sure. Are they? No. They have too many holes in their starting pitching. And like I said, there's other holes that an Ohtani trade I could see from a upper management that yes, this trade would suck, but we would end up into one of those addition by subtraction, because you're taking away the big piece but getting a whole lot of small pieces, which could fill a whole bunch of holes and then make a run. But if they're prospects, how many times do these prospects hit? But this is all hypothetical. I mean, because in my heart of hearts, I agree with you. He's not going to be like, all right, well, it's the number's 600 or above.
Yeah. I don't see it either.
No, and where that 600 number came from, I think, is just a projection from assholes with microphones like you and I that are just like, okay, yes, this is what he's worth.
Yeah. And the thing too, and look, I'm all about players getting paid. I'm all about everybody, you know, and I strongly believe that this guy needs to be the highest paid player in baseball, and I think he's gonna get there.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you have to look at too, like, if you want to win, you better be willing to take, you know, a little bit less money than what you know what your agent's trying to get you, or what, you know, everybody's saying that you should get, because if you take this bag of money. How are we supposed? You can't. He's already showed us he can't win a World Series by himself. He can't get to the fucking playoffs with one of the other best players in the game right now. So you need a supporting cast. He can only pitch one day of the week, maybe two
that we know of.
Yeah, and and you know he's gonna hit you 40, 50 home runs. He showed he's gonna do that every single year. Well, you need other guys that can be on base when you're hitting those home runs.
That usually helps.
Yeah, So I always say, like, you know, you have to kind of find that. Like, and for some people, I think that postseason and World Series or championships doesn't mean as much to them. I think for some players, I want to get paid and that's all that matters to me. And to each their own.
Yep.
But I think there comes a time. Like, look, we can fucking write Shohei Ohtani into the Hall of Fame right now, just from what he's done in the last 3 years.
Yep, I agree. First ballot.
To me, you're a Hall of Famer. It's not. I think career numbers are a big deal, but if you dominate a game for like a 3-4 year span, I don't give a fuck if it's football, NBA, MLB. If you are the best player in that sport for a span of time, 3 to 4 years, you're a Hall of Famer. That's in my opinion. So I mean, he as far as the fame and everything that he's done on that side, he's got that. But what's going to be his knock? And the only thing that you can knock him on, say he goes another 7-8 seasons here and doesn't get to the postseason or doesn't win a World Series, that's going to be the thing that you talk about him with, is he never won a World Series. We already know that. I mean, we already talked about it with Trout.
Yeah. Yep.
So, you know, it's going to be, you know, obviously I want to see him get paid, but at the same time, you got to be willing. And to me, I think you had to be willing to take a little bit of a pay cut. And that's kind of like getting back to that Gary Sheffield comment. Like, yeah, I agree, and he's not wrong. But I don't think the Braves are even going to be in the running for him, because the Braves don't need him.
No,
the Braves can go win champion. They're good enough to win a championship right now, and they don't have him, and they don't need him. And yeah, you have Acuna and you have Albies and you have all these guys locked up on very, very good contracts that are not going to hurt you. But there's a whole other wave of young players that eventually you're going to have to pay to keep them. Yeah. Well, I'd rather have those 5 or 6 players and keep them around and have everybody be happy than to just throw my whole fucking wad into, you know, a Shohei Ohtani or anybody. So
it's going to be very interesting to see how this all plays out.
And the other thing too, you have to look at it like, look, sports is a game of egos too. So if you go out and you just throw the bag at a guy like Ohtani, and I'm speaking like as a Brave, you know, say the Braves were to do it, you have to think that it's only human that, you know, a Ronald Acuna Jr. is going to be like, well, what the fuck?
Right.
Now, I mean, I understand I'm not jumping up on the bump and throwing fastballs and striking everybody out, but I am stealing 50, 60 bags, and I am batting over 300, and I am hitting 30, 40 home runs in seasons. Like, why am I only being paid a third?
Yeah.
So, you know, and to me, and if you allow that to happen and egos start to get, then I think that's what you kind of see with, you know, the Padres. They have so much talent, but they don't know how to play together. They don't know, and you know, so I think that you want to have loads of talent on every single team because you need talent to win. but you also have to find that balance throughout your entire organization. Because if you have a team that can gel and everything is good, those teams win more than the teams that just have stars on them.
Oh, I 100% agree, and which makes Boston probably the best place for him to go because his best friend.
There you go.
His best friend's already there. His friend's already there. But I don't foresee the Braves or the Red Sox forking over that much money when they said they couldn't afford Mookie Betts.
Yeah,
I think they couldn't afford Xander Bogaerts.
Yeah, I don't see that happening either. I think when it comes down to it, I would be shocked if he ends up suiting up for anybody other than the Angels or the Dodgers.
Yeah,
I think those are the two teams.
Or possibly the Yankees, which the Yankees post George really haven't done a whole lot of spending like that. So, but yeah, hell, he's probably going to be a Padre. He's probably going to be a Padre because they're signing everybody else, and when worst comes to worst, he could probably play shortstop too.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Well, 2K crew, we did not. We slacked this week and kind of forgot about the top 5. So we'll hit you with the top 5 next week. 2Ks, is there anything else that we need to let the 2K crew know? Big shout out to Keegan Bradley.
Yeah.
Talk about a fucking dominating performance. Good lord. And speaking of blowouts, are you taking Florida or LSU tomorrow? Kind of putting you on the spot.
Florida's the better team,
yes,
all around. Now LSU has the studs, and the number one stud is that pitcher, and I have to imagine that he's going to go. Now I know he's thrown a lot of pitches here in the last few weeks, but
so this will be 3 days rest for him.
Yeah,
and he just
come off of throwing 100 and some pitches. Yeah. So I know he can do it, but I know that that's to me it's a lot of pressure on the coach, on the coaching staff, because you're obviously going to be looked at like, but it's the championship. These kids only get this opportunity once.
Yeah.
They've been training for this, for years and years, and he's young.
Yeah.
I say let him go.
Me too.
And he's the best pitcher in college baseball, and in my opinion. Because LSU's next best pitcher pitched game 1 of this. Mm-hmm. So if LSU has a chance at winning this, he's going to have to go.
Yeah.
I think if he does go and he's able, and they let him go and let him, flirt with 100 pitches, I think LSU can win this game. But I think at the end of the day, Florida's just a much better team. Florida's got way more depth.
Yeah.
Maybe the 2 best players in this World Series are both on LSU, but the next best player is that Langford kid for Florida, and I think I'd take Florida. Florida just with all their depth, and even with Skeens pitching, who is an absolute stud, and to me, I think he's the best player in the draft, hands down. With what he's done on the mound this year, and he's he's the best college pitcher I've ever seen.
Well, before we get out of here, 2Ks, let's look up. MLB draft order, because the draft is what, Thursday? Something like that?
I think it is.
Okay. Top 5. Pittsburgh Pirates have 1, Nationals 2, Tigers 3. This is the one that caught my eye, 2Ks. The Texas Rangers have the second best record in baseball and are picking fucking 4th. Mm-hmm. You talk about a turnaround. That is insane. The Twins have 5. The A's, even though they're by far the worst team almost in baseball history, are picking 6. Mm-hmm. Cincinnati, who's on a roll, 7. Kansas City needs a shit ton of help, 8. Colorado, they also need a whole lot of help, and the Marlins are playing good baseball too.
Yeah.
So
as far as the Tigers go, in that draft, they're going to get a good one. No matter what happens, they're going to get a really good one, and. To me, it's those 3 kids that are all playing. They're all going to be playing for it all tomorrow night.
Give me that Florida center fielder right now.
Yeah.
Right now.
It's all right. I mean, because pretty much the whole year, everybody has said that Cruz from LSU is going to be the number 1 pick. Mm-hmm. It's hard to argue it. Absolute stud. A lot of people are saying that Washington, with the second pick, will go with the pitcher from LSU, and then Langford from Florida, the outfielder, will be the Tigers pick. And And there was some talk that maybe Washington jumps in and they take Langford, and then the Skeens is available with the pitcher to the Tigers. And people on the Tigers were saying, no, you can't go with another pitcher. And I'm one of those people in the beginning that was saying it. Before I started really honing in and watching this LSU team play, I was like, you can't go with another pitcher. Like, how many of them have we drafted over the last 6-7 years have actually panned out and been really, really good? It's none of them. None of them have. I mean, there's still potential.
Yeah.
But they haven't panned out. You have to go with a position player because that's what the Tigers are lacking the most of right now. And then I started watching this shit, and if the Tigers if he slides to 3, and the Tigers take him, I will not complain one bit. He is that good. Casey Mize was about as good as it gets watching him in college baseball. This kid, I think, is on a whole nother level.
Yeah.
So. Whoever gets him is going to be very happy. Fucking averages 100-mile-an-hour fastball. I mean, and then has all the secondary pitches too. He's an absolute stud. But no, the Tigers are in a good spot. You have the 3rd pick, and I think with those first 3 picks, in this draft, I don't think you can go wrong with any of them.
No, I 100% agree, and that's why I wanted to bring this up, is to let the folks know that the Tigers do have the 3rd pick, but. The one, like I said, the one that shocked me was the Rangers with pick 4. It's kind of weird to see how good they are now,
and how loaded their farm is loaded too.
Yeah,
I mean, 2 years ago they got the lighter kid from Vanderbilt. We haven't even seen him yet. It's only a matter of time we're going to see him pitching there, and so no, they're loaded. Josh Jung, drafted a couple years ago, probably going to win the Rookie of the Year this year. Yeah. I mean, they have turned it around. Real fucking quick.
Real quick. Real quick. All right. Well, 2K crew, we did want to give you that, but if there's nothing left out there, 2Ks, I think it's time to get out of here. Everyone have a fantastic week, and as always, Jim Rome, we're coming for you.